10 years ago, if you were to tell me where I would be in my life today, I just wouldn't believe you. Back then, I was struggling with my addiction to alcohol, addiction to food. My health was completely shot through. And today, as I'm just out on a walk, I just wanted to share with you that journey and a couple of things that really helped me along the way change to where I am at now. So today, to give you a bit of an understanding, I'm 10 years clean and sober, and I'm 7 years coming up very soon, completely free from binging, and my relationship to food is just 10 times better. In addition to that, I'm 2.5 years raw vegan as well. And that journey, I, I remember when it was starting. Yeah, it was brutal. I was not in a good way at all. I was extremely isolated. My health, I started to get like really bad constipation. My allergies were shocking. Like going outside was just an absolute nightmare because every time I'd go outside, my allergies would really like become very inflamed and really heightened. So I was just struggling for me. I would have these big rashes across my body because my immune system was just all over the place and just shutting down. It was just shocking. So that journey has been a big one. And the first thing I had to address was my life was in such a bad way at that point through the choices that I made. And becoming very honest with those life's choices. And I won't say it was all oh, if I do this, this is going to be the result. Some things I just didn't know. Like I didn't know that if I was to have cooked food and the foods that I was having, even they weren't junk foods, I didn't know how that would affect my body. But what I did was, the first thing is I had to take ownership with my life. I had to completely own where I was in my life at that point in time, because if I didn't do that, nothing was going to change. I was either going to continue to do what I was going to do, I was going to blame it on people, or I was going to continue to seek comfort in the things that initially brought me that comfort at that point in time. So the number one thing was I had to look at the areas of my life that I wanted to improve in a major way. The first one was to stop drinking and abusing alcohol and my body in that way. So that was the first one. That was a big one. That was huge because it had been something that I'd done for so many years. So that was the very first thing. The second thing was my relationship and addiction to food, because when I stopped drinking as well, that heightened massively, and I got very out of control with food and binging on foods and feeling like I was needing foods, being dependent on foods emotionally, to just get by, to deal with certain situations, either that I was uncomfortable in or that I was experiencing. So that was the second key component, was dealing with that. And then the third was really focusing on my health once I'd stabilized food, transitioning to a raw vegan lifestyle and doing that. So the first thing was taking ownership for where my life was. It's the first thing. Not able to get anywhere without that. I've got to put myself in a position of humility where I can start to own that. The second thing, the second part of that journey was asking for help, because for a long time I didn't ask for help barely for anything. And the problems that were going on for me, and internally, my internal conditioning was so just in such a bad way. I hated who I had become. Asking for help was going to be the catalyst for me to actually move forward. And it was really humbling, extremely humbling for me at that time, because I didn't even think I needed help. I didn't even think there was much problems. But what had happened is the problems got so full on, I got to a point where I was able to get honest enough with how much trouble I was really in, and where my life had got to at that point. And that was the age of 20. I'm 30 now. So yeah, it was a rough one. So that was the second thing. I had to be in a position where I was open-minded. I was willing, and I wanted the help. Because I tell you now, if I did not get to that point, nothing was going to change. It didn't matter what I listed, areas that I wanted to improve. If I didn't have that willingness to change, it would have only ever been temporary. Only ever been temporary. It would have, the exact same thing would have just repeated itself. I would have been a couple of days and I would have drank again. I would have gone for a moment in time and then I would have ended up binging on food. So that was a crucial lesson for me and I remember like crying and asking this dude for help when I was first initially getting sober, then with the food, and then like it was a continual surrender and process of surrendering and saying like, how do I do this? How can I get through? And I asked for help for people that got through those journeys themselves, so I could learn from them, so I could understand. And the blind spots that I had that kept on leading me back to food and binging on food and cooked food and then, alcohol and that, I had to understand what that was so I could get out in front of it. The third key idea I will experience just from my experience, the third part of that was actually knowing what to do. Like very specifically what to do, a specific plan of action that was going to help me overcome what I was trying to overcome for so many years. So with raw vegan, living that lifestyle, there were many things that I wasn't across. The first was I was restricting way too much, and it led me to binge even more. That was the first thing. The second thing was I didn't understand enough of the variety of foods and meals that I could have that I could start to stabilize myself with. I just didn't know. Like I didn't have that understanding. So I had to learn. I had to learn like base meals, the smoothies, the juices, the salads, the raw vegan pastas and zucchini pastas and lasagna, and I had to like broaden my understanding of what that was. And it wasn't just food, yeah. It was the lifestyle. So that to me looked like prayer and breath work and like the many things that I had to get on board with on this lifestyle. The water, like pure water. The importance of juicing, detoxing, juice fasting. These are all things that I had to slowly learn and develop in my life so I could become stable with food and so I could then become healthier. Because stability with food was the first thing. I was addicted to fast food and foods in general. I was so out of control. So the first thing was to become stable with that, to have consistent, healthy meals, an abundance of healthy meals, specifically which foods to be having at which point in time that I was transitioning over. That a lot of people just, like me, I just tried to do it myself for so many years. And then even when I did ask for help, it was for people that just didn't really understand. One, how to be vegan, how to be raw vegan, or two, just that depth of that knowledge with the addictive nature that I was going through. That was still happening for me, specifically with food. And once I overcame those hurdles, the last couple of things have been for me, as we dodged a couple of the trees, was once I'd learned all that, it was continuing to grow, to continue to learn and grow. This was an important lesson. This happened for me when I transitioned to raw vegan 7 years ago. After 2 years, I got to a place in my health that was okay. I was better, like much better than I was before. And I'd overcome so many hurdles. At that point, I wanted to just stop and plateaued and even regressed a bit back into then being vegan and having cooked foods. Which, look, at the end of the day, that everyone's on their own journey. For me, I was in the pursuit of my health and to get way better. And at that point, it was easier for me, and I didn't surrender enough to growing and understanding, and I just didn't want to. So I went back. And what happened for me is that I plateaued, and some of the health issues that I had experienced before, over that time, they had either stayed or they'd reared their head again. And I got to a point where I wanted to break out of that again. And I surrendered after 2 years of doing that to being raw vegan again, which takes me to where I'm at now, which is 2.5 years. So, and I'm very, very grateful to God and the people that have helped me a lot on that journey to grow to that next stage. And now being 2.5 years, broken past that, and even way, way more so the things that I'm doing now, the way that I'm living my life, the connection with God that I have now, the way my health is at today, all the learnings that I have. It's like I've been reborn from that period that at the time I was very comfortable with, and I didn't want to grow through. And the last full circle period of that is now I'm sharing my journey continually, sharing my learnings, helping others today. And that's what I do. I talk to people, I help them with their relationship with food, with going and transitioning to raw vegan and how to do it and when to do it and what to do and what not to do. Certainly what not to do. There's many things that I did, and I'll probably create another video around that I did that wasn't great. Definitely wasn't great. There's many things, from a shocking water fast that I had, how I refeeded back after that, the amount I was for a period of time drinking like salt water in the mornings, like a bloody liters of it. And it was just I didn't know what I didn't know, and I was just reading stuff online that I thought would be a good idea and turned out to be really not good, and tried to do a lot of things myself. So, but I'm very grateful for the point that I'm at today in helping others, and because it keeps me wanting to, not that I don't want to be on this path, but it makes me want to be on this path even more, learn more, help others more, connect with people more. And it's the biggest joy in my life that I have, is helping people in that way and continually growing myself and expanding my own experience, my own knowledge, because there's some things that I've even done that I thought at the time were good, and then I learn and I grow more, and it's brilliant, it's incredible. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Now, if you are binging and you're addicted to food or emotionally go back to food and you want to transition to a raw vegan lifestyle, or you find it just too difficult to transition to, and you keep on going back to cooked food, back to vegan foods, or you want to become vegan and you keep on going back to foods, what I'll do is I'll put a link down below where you can book in a time to have a call with me, and we'll go through exactly what's going on, how you've been feeling, like, and actually put a plan together for you so you can become free from this, like I did. And like I started that journey 10 years ago. You know, there's been an insurmountable amount of learning during that time. And I feel even now I've only just scratched the surface. So if you want to experience that for yourself, yeah, click the link down below, book in a time, we can have a bit of a chat and put a good plan of action in place for you that you can get free and start to experience the life that you really want to live. So love you all and take care.